Welcome, everyone, to the Phenomenal Wrestling Podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with Ryan. And Ryan, before we start anything else, I just want to tell you, we have fantastic timing, don't we?
Oh,
what better
yes.
day to start our podcast than during E3? Brilliant.
It's a really good move, and I think it's going to pay dividends for us, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people are online already, so maybe we'll catch some of them.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking.
And in any case, we're another wrestling podcast in the world. I know there's probably enough of those out there already, but we have our own unique perspective, and we want to tell the world what we think, whether they're good opinions or not.
That's right.
Do you think you got good opinions on wrestling?
Oh, no, not at all.
No, absolutely not.
But you know what? I'm ready to talk about them.
Absolutely. We don't have good opinions. We have phenomenal
That's
opinions.
Right. Oh, yeah. Much better than good. Yeah, absolutely
Exactly.
Phenomenal.
All right. Well, we're going to start things off with a little bit of news. The big news story this week, or at least one of the big news stories, the one we're going to talk about, is Lio Rush. It turns out that he is going to retire. He's only 26 years old, but after his appearance at Double or Nothing, he apparently got a shoulder injury, and he's ready to hang up the boots. This is a little bit melancholy for me because, while I've never really seen much of Lio Rush in action, I started watching wrestling right around the time. Which WrestleMania was it with AJ Styles versus Nakamura?
Oh, that's a good question. I think WrestleMania 30. Let me just look it up instead of guessing.
It was definitely 30 something.
Yeah. It looks like that's a good question. Here, I'll look it up.
Well, in any case, that was the one that got me back into wrestling. I saw on Twitter AJ Styles versus Nakamura as a big thing that was going to happen, and I was like, "Oh, I know AJ Styles." When I watched wrestling briefly in like 2010, he was on TNA, and that was good stuff. And this Nakamura guy, he looks pretty awesome. WWE Network was only like $10, so hey, why not?
Yeah, why not?
I gave it a shot, and not long after I started watching wrestling, Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush were a team.
Yeah.
Lio Rush was the hype man, and that was one of the earliest angles that I saw. So Lio Rush is definitely someone that I really enjoyed when I first started watching wrestling. When he got released from WWE, what was that, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah.
Must have been. He said he might retire then too. And he's still working for New Japan, so he's got some stuff he's got to finish there. So who knows if he's going to stay retired, especially at his age. He can definitely come back at any time. But, I wish the best for him. It's a very tough business, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
He was fantastic in it, but, I mean, the greats out there, they get hurt a lot, and maybe he doesn't want to be one of those people.
Yeah.
What do you think about all this?
I mean, the fact that he's 26, I feel like he's got time to rest up, and obviously, like you said, he has those New Japan dates that he has to finish up. But yeah, I did read something that he said where it hurt him to like lift his child up, and
wow.
Yeah, so I feel like if you get to that point, yeah, you need at least some time off. So I do not blame Lio Rush. It seems like he has a lot of other interests too, besides wrestling. So yeah, rest up. If he ever comes back, great. If not, totally respect it.
I mean, that's advice a lot of people in the industry need to take.
Yes.
Will Ospreay, he just had to go on break, and I can imagine what he's feeling after all the things that he does.
Right. Absolutely.
I heard recently, Kenny Omega has been fighting with a shoulder injury for a year now?
Yep. Yeah, I read that interview with him as well, where it just seems like he's in a ton of pain. I think his knees too. He's got some knee issues as well. It seems like he's got a lot going on as well.
Yeah. I heard an interview where he was like, the U.S. mats are way springier than the Japan mats, and so that makes it harder for his knees because he's not used to that.
It's not as he has to like be double explosive apparently, to just get the kind of for the dives and everything. It's wild how differently the rings are in different companies. It seems like the New Japan rings were kind of stiffer and probably maybe easier then. To do explosive type moves, so I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder, where do you even get rings of various compositions? Like, there can't be that many different ones in the U.S. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many people are making wrestling rings out there?
There can't be that many. I mean, there can't be that many companies, like wrestling companies, period. So
it's like pinball machines. You got like 3 companies if you're lucky making.
Exactly. I don't know. That's something to look into. I think that's something to take a look at.
But we'll definitely actually talk more about Kenny Omega
Hmm.
in just a moment, because what are we doing today? We are covering AEW Dynamite from June 11th. It was the 11th, right?
Yes. Yes, sure was.
Okay. Yeah, we both saw this episode, so we'll both get to talk about it. We'll just start from the beginning. The first match was Christian Cage versus Angelico. I
Hmm.
was about to say Angelico, but I stopped myself there. So apparently Matt Hardy has this big bug up his butt about Christian tossing him out at the pay per view,
Yeah.
and so he hired TH2 to basically attack him. I mean, not even attack him, just have a match with him. He was going to have a match anyway, so I don't
Yeah.
see this as much more threatening. You know what I mean?
Right.
He just paid people to have a match that they were probably already going to have.
How do you feel about this big money Matt Hardy character in general?
Apparently, people weren't into him as Broken Matt Hardy, which is the exact opposite of how I felt. I
Uh-huh.
love Broken Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
I wasn't around for his big TNA run as Broken Matt Hardy. I saw a little bit of Woken Matt Hardy
Right.
at WWE. And, just as soon as he was really getting into it, he just stops doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Matt Hardy just talking about, how rich he is. And it just it's a different direction for his character, but it just seems like I don't know, it just doesn't vibe with the Matt Hardy I know. But maybe that's the point. Maybe it's supposed to be this different, out of touch Matt Hardy. But you know what? He's funny in anything he does, really. So I'm
Yeah.
on board.
I mean, Matt Hardy's never the same thing for very
No,
long.
no, absolutely
So,
not.
I mean, hopefully someday he goes back to Broken, but maybe he'll come up with an even better idea down
Right?
the road.
Yeah, yeah. You never know with him.
What do you think of and I was about to say it again. What do you think of Angelico? He has been impressing me whenever he shows up.
Yeah, so I
He,
haven't seen. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I haven't seen that many matches with him, to be honest. But this, I was really into this match. I think it was the combo of, Christian Cage is, a really great wrestler, and Angelico, just his kind of submission style was really cool. That's not the type of wrestler I expected him to be, just from his, I guess, just from his appearance. But
oh yeah,
appearances can
and
be
he looks
deceiving.
like Slender Man's angsty teenage
Yeah,
son.
exactly.
He's got like the longest limbs and torso of pretty much anyone there.
Yeah.
And he's good at the submission stuff. He has some very interesting submission techniques. It's like explosive, high flying version of submission. He's not strictly just mat guy, just
Right.
like Daniel Bryan, just pulling things. He's has that Navarro roll stuff, and I thought it was a pretty good match. Good way to
Yeah,
open
I
it.
did too. I really liked it, and I think I like the kind of growing respect between Christian Cage and Jungle Boy came out,
Hmm.
and I kind of like that. Who knows if we'll see like a mentor mentee kind of thing with them, but I like the kind of relationship they have kind of brewing right now.
I mean, every old timer is basically becoming the
Yeah,
mentee to someone
exactly,
there.
exactly.
And the match itself, Angelico and Christian, they fight it out. Christian keeps getting out of the moves, and so Angelico tries to match him by matching his style. Goes for a high flying move. Nope. Kick to the face.
Yep.
Goes on for a bit after that, and then he finally eats the what is it? What is Christian Cage's final move?
The kill switch, I believe.
Kill switch. That's it.
Yeah.
He eats a kill switch and is out. As soon as the match ends, Jack Evans runs in, Helico's partner for TH2.
Hmm.
He runs in, starts bashing him over the head. Actually, he doesn't. That's the thing. Jack Evans comes in and fails so miserably. He just whoosh, goes right over the ropes.
Yeah.
But he succeeds in distracting Christian long enough for Matt Hardy to get behind and do the twist of fate.
Yes, which I think is the second week in a row that Matt Hardy has hit Christian Cage with
Yeah.
the
Did you
twist of
see the
fate.
one last week?
Yeah, on the it was on the ramp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but the way Matt Hardy ran up those steps was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's like,
Yeah, it's very, very villainous of Matt Hardy.
very villainous running from that guy.
Yeah, but I do like this. I mean, I'm guessing it's going to lead to a Matt Hardy Christian Cage match in 2021. Which, you know what, I'm here for it. Why not?
Oh, sure. I mean, if Sting can get in the ring, I'm
Yeah,
sure these two
exactly.
can. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Then again, Matt Hardy has not had the best of luck in ring action wise at
No,
AEW. That goes
no.
without saying.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
Yeah. So after that, we had Tony Schiavone in the ring to announce the tag match for next week.
Hmm.
QT Marshall and Aaron Solo against Cody Rhodes and a partner of his choosing. And the chosen partner is, drumroll, Brock Anderson, right?
Yes, yes.
Have you seen this guy before?
No, has anybody? I don't know. Has he wrestled?
I don't know if he's wrestled.
Yeah, but
He certainly didn't come out in ring gear.
no, he came out. He came out like a mini version of his dad, which was kind of funny.
Yeah,
uh,
he looks just like him.
yeah, he really does. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what kind of moveset he goes with. If he's kind of like I guess you could argue that Arn Anderson was kind of the power of the Four Horsemen. So
Hmm.
I wonder what Brock Anderson has on his disposal.
I don't know. But okay, so here's something that interested me about this promo, just thinking about Cody in general.
Hmm.
Is it just me, or is Cody doing like every single angle Cody does, he tries to be the baby face from the heel side of things?
Yes.
Like when AEW started, I thought it was weird that the elite, calling themselves the elite, and executive vice presidents, the authority there were also the baby faces. That always seemed a little bit weird to me, at least when I first started watching it.
Yes.
And since then, Cody's basically been, he started a feud with Shaq. Everyone loves Shaq.
Right.
Just a week or two ago, he tried desperately to make a Go America, screw
Right.
the other
Yeah.
storyline work
Yep.
against a Go who's British, I guess that's his big boogeyman
Right.
thing. And he
Right.
tried to make that work. And now, QT's coming out with a very legitimate thing saying, hey, this guy, you just let him in because of nepotism. I'm working with guys coming up from the ground up. You don't pay attention to them. You pay attention to this guy. And it's a valid point. Brock Anderson, I haven't seen anything to prove that he didn't get his job out of nepotism, and Cody is in there trying to sell it. And to his credit, if anyone is going to sell a guy like this as a contender, it is going to be Cody, who is the poster boy for second generation doing better
Yeah.
than the first.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think to your first point, the fact that Cody is still, or at least still considers himself a babyface, is wild to me. I think in my perfect AEW world, I mean, what the Young Bucks are doing to me is so cool. I mean, we'll talk about them
Mm-hmm.
later, obviously, but
Oh
just
yeah.
the fact that they literally call themselves the elite, and they're coming out in these expensive sneakers, and that's kind of what Cody should be doing. I feel like Cody should see himself as like the savior of wrestling, and I think maybe he does, but not in like a heelish way. I think he
Mm-hmm.
genuinely thinks of himself as a babyface. I don't know if that's going to change at some point, if this is just a long build up to that, but yeah, I mean, like you said, he's made a lot of like weird storyline choices with the USA versus Great Britain thing with the Go-Go, and I
Our
don't know.
greatest enemy.
Exactly. It's just like what's going on here, Cody? Like you got to make a character move at some point that's something other than just being patriotic.
Yeah. And I mean, like, has there ever been a wrestling company? I'm sure there has, but in like a big wrestling company where the owners weren't the bad guys. I mean, wrestling's biggest success was when Vince McMahon became Mr. McMahon.
Exactly.
You had Eric Bischoff causing all sorts of trouble at WCW. You
Yeah.
had Dixie Carter. I don't know if Dixie Carter was ever really a bad guy, but eventually Eric Bischoff and Hogan took over that and were the
Mhm.
bad guys there.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
yeah,
there's
just
something to be said for rooting for, the common man in
mm,
quotes, over their boss or the authority figure, especially in wrestling. I mean, it's almost a cliche at this point, but it is for a reason, because I don't think anybody wants to root for their boss,
mhm.
or the people in charge. So I don't know. I think something's got to give with Cody at some point. I'm not sure what
What
that'll
makes it
be, but yeah.
the big thing that makes it different, and maybe why it's been working up to this point, is that AEW, the company, is the underdog.
Hmm.
They don't explicitly do it, certainly not as much as like WCW or even TNA did,
Yeah.
but they are positioned as the better alternative to the monolith.
Yes. No, that's a really good point. And Cody is, I guess, kind of the figurehead of that, and he's
Hmm.
he's probably the one who, he's on the TBS shows, he's on, et cetera, et cetera. So I totally get that. And I think something's gonna happen at some point, though. I don't know if there's a ton of backlash to his character or whatever, but I just think the fact that he sees himself as a big baby face is still odd to me.
And that match. Oh, what happened next? QT came out, argued with Cody
Mm-hmm.
and Arn. He took off. Oh, a strap match. They announced that they were going.
South
QT
Beach
offered to
strap
do.
match. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what a South Beach strap match
No
is.
idea.
They always love to throw extra words on those
Yeah.
things. But he whips Arn Anderson with the belt. Very light whip, you know.
Right.
But then Brock just comes in and starts beating him over the face. It's still not selling me on Brock. He doesn't come out to music. He doesn't have ring gear, and the only action we see is pretty much. Not everyone can do it, certainly, but most people can probably take a guy on the ground and throw fake punches.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was actually weirdly paying special attention to his punches, and they're fine. But well, I guess we'll see next week, right? Or is that
Yeah.
is it next week that he's debuting? Yeah,
The
yeah.
tag match is next week. I don't know when the strap match is. Probably on the
I think
Saturday show.
it's July 7th.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't mind a mini Arn, to be honest. I always liked Arn Anderson, so at least from what I've seen of his stuff. So yeah, we'll
Wasn't
see.
Cody in a tag team at WWE where the whole gimmick was they were kids of famous
Yeah,
wrestlers?
Ted DiBiase Jr. He was in a tag team with. They were called Legacy, and they were
Yeah.
Randy Orton was kind of the leader of that little trio. So
Wow.
yeah, so Legacy was definitely a thing.
They
That's
could
kind of like
at this point
yeah.
they could do a whole stable of them
Oh, for
at
sure.
AEW.
Yep, absolutely.
Like who do you got? You got Brock Anderson. You got Hook. I'm waiting to see what Hook's gonna do because
Yeah,
he has a decent amount of presence there. You know, you need some young guys like that on the roster,
for
and
sure.
he hasn't done anything to embarrass himself yet. I wish he would speak or get in the ring, but he's good at standing there, if nothing else.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got
Who else we
Pillman
got?
Jr.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
Uh,
you've got, and then obviously Cody.
at least those two. And Cody, there you go.
Yeah.
There's your four.
Yeah. So you could do a new Horseman or something like that. I just want to see Brock Anderson do a spine buster. If he can do a double A spine buster, then I'm sold on him.
We'll get to spine busters eventually. Don't
Yeah.
you worry about that. All right. So the next thing on the show was Death Triangle, specifically Pac and Penta with Eddie Kingston versus the Young Bucks with Brandon Cutler. I don't know about you. I was not a big fan of this match.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I kind of expected more though, to be honest,
Here's
with the amount of
here's what
talent.
threw me off. Yeah, here's what threw me off about it. The whole thing is that Pac and Penta don't like Eddie Kingston,
Yeah.
and normally this is the recipe you would do if you want them to lose at first and have to learn the hard way to start working together.
Right.
They're not getting along, but they're still running away with this. Not just against Brandon Cutler. The Bucks are in total clown shoes mode in this entire
Yes.
match.
Yes.
So they're kind of running away with it, but it's not all that fun because they aren't getting along. It's not until the Bucks finally, stop Pac in his tracks that they finally get into something good in the latter half of the match. But it was just a weird thing at first where it's like these guys who all lost to the Bucks at one point or another
Right.
are forming this uneasy alliance and are still kicking butt.
Yeah, it is kind of like the Young Bucks. I don't know how you feel about this, but I always feel like a good tag team should always beat like two great wrestlers.
Yeah,
You know?
two good singles guys.
Yeah, like,
Mhm.
and that's it's still the case in a trios match for sure. So yeah, it's just kind of odd that the trio of Pac, Penta, and Eddie Kingston like not working together very well, and they still win. I don't know. That's kind of weird.
But there was some good stuff in here.
Yeah,
I
for
really
sure.
liked that one bit where Penta did it was a roll up, which he then transitioned into a Canadian Destroyer. Canadian
Yes.
Destroyer is already like my favorite move.
Oh,
It looks like
absolutely.
wizardry every time I see it, and then just doing the roll into that was awesome. I love
Yeah,
that bit.
absolutely.
But they go back and forth. Pac eventually eats a buckle bomb enziguri combination. Cutler is tagged in to finish him off with like a flying elbow thing. Pac rolls out of the way, crash and burn for Cutler. He eats a back fist from Kingston, and then Pac gets the pin
Yep.
at the end. The Bucks rush in to, of course, hit them a bunch of times afterwards. But then Kazarian comes in to make the save against the Elite and clear the ring. What do you think of Kazarian in this role as the Elite Killer?
I like it. I've always been a Kazarian fan, even though even in TNA, I feel like he didn't have too much of a character. He was just a great wrestler. So I like that they kind of gave him this elite hunter role that really gives him a direction to go. That's other than he's a really good wrestler. He was in a tag team. Now he's got a purpose. I feel like, and it makes him seem really cool to me. I'm very into the elite hunter thing. for sure. How about you?
More into it if it had more focus, but there are so many people going after the Bucks and the Elite
Yeah,
that it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Unless we're preparing for another blood and guts match in a month,
right.
I don't see where this is going
Yeah,
just yet.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Another key point is that Gallows and Anderson came in, but then
Yes.
yeah, they're all right. I never really saw them, and I've only ever seen them really at AEW. Never saw them at WWE, New Japan, TNA, any of that stuff. They're fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I missing something with those two?
I have a little bit of experience with them just through New Japan and the Bullet Club, but yeah, I mean they're just kind of guys who love to interfere is kind of their
Yeah.
role at this point. So it's
Well,
like
everyone's interfering these days.
I know, it really is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You think that's going to get better with when the AEW does their Rampage show?
I don't know. I think so. I think hopefully they'll have more involvement other than just running in after a match and trying to beat down on people. I think hopefully it'll give some more space to a bunch of different people.
I mean, there's definitely a bunch of guys on that roster who I wish had more attention.
Absolutely.
At least most at the top of my list are the Varsity Blondes. They had
Yes.
such a good match like 3 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just gone.
Yeah, I think they were on Dark or something, but like,
Dark.
yeah, but it's
I
just,
can't.
it's still.
I can barely make the 2 hours
I
for
know.
Dynamite. I
I
might
know.
be able to make the 3 hours when Rampage come out, but I can't do the 2 hours of Dark and now the extra 2 hours of Elevation.
Yes, I'm with you there. It's tough. It really is. There's a lot of wrestling to consume.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not a bad thing, but
No.
it's hard to keep up with.
It sure is.
Okay, so after that, the Pinnacle come out to make their speech from the Inner Circle speech from last week.
Mhm.
I honestly don't have much to say about this. The only thing of note that I kind of liked about it is that MJF just looks tired.
Yeah.
He is tired of all this.
Yes.
And even when the Inner Circle pull their big goofy stunt, he's not like, what? No! No! He's just, ugh.
He's just like, ugh, come on.
I-
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Well-
classic, like, inner circle hijinks that I guess they're kind of trying to almost narrow the feuds between FTR and Santana and Ortiz, and Sean Spears and Sammy Guevara, and who's it, Wardlow and Jake Hager.
Jake Hager. I love every time they say Jake Hager is undefeated in MMA.
Yeah.
What they don't say is that he won every match in MMA. I think 2 of them were DQs because he did a low blow.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're massaging the truth there.
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, you got it in wrestling,
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with that MMA match. Was it next week?
Oh, yeah, I have no
I think-
clue.
I'm not into MMA, so I don't know what a fake MMA match is going to do,
Mhm.
but it'll be interesting to see if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be. I'm never usually a fan of when they do. Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe did a kind of MMA thing in TNA in like
Oh, wow.
08 or something, and it was fine. But at a certain point, you just want to see wrestling. You don't want to see MMA in wrestling. You don't want to see
Yeah.
like worked MMA. It's like
Yeah.
it's pretty tough to watch sometimes.
Fake wrestling in a real style.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
So yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to that. Just, hey, we're continuing the feud even though we've had 2 blow-offs in a row.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Here's the thing that I probably hated the most on the show.
Mm-hmm.
We get a video of Sting and Darby Allin responding to Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page's challenge, and it was basically, Darby Allin, you wouldn't be anything without Sting, so we challenge you to a tag match, but you must have someone else than Sting in your corner. Wahahaha.
Right.
And so, Darby Allin, genius. Let me ask you this. Let's throw a hypothetical at you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're a bad guy wrestler, and you say to me, Matt, me, this Saturday in a Ryan's Rules match. The rules are simple. You start the match in handcuffs. I get a barbed wire bat. To win the match, you must file my tax return, and I must simply say, I win the match.
Right.
Are you man enough to accept this challenge? And if I were to say, not only am I going to accept your challenge, I'm not even going to use TurboTax. I am going to file it by hand. You, as the heel, are you going to say, oh my God, this guy is serious? Or, wow, this guy's bigger fool than I thought he was?
Definitely the second option, yeah.
Exactly. So Darby Allin's genius plan here is to do a handicap match. He's going to go to the ring, not with another partner, but by himself to take on Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. The two guys, which I will remind you, beat the crap out of him at Double or Nothing.
Yes.
Mostly to cover for Sting only being able to do so much. But in storyline, they did beat the crap out of him. And he also took that bump a few weeks ago from Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky down the concrete steps. I don't think I've ever seen anything more sad in wrestling than the 3 minutes of post-fall just sitting there from Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Like, even he looked like he regretted that.
Yeah.
And now he's doing this. He is going to do a handicap match. And I know it's all work and, kayfabe and all that. They want us to believe that he's not actually going to get hurt, but they want us to believe that it's going to be a tough challenge. But even in storyline, this doesn't work for me because he is going into a bad faith situation for no reason.
Right.
It reminds me of like when it was like 3 weeks ago when Sheeta went against Rebel for no reason. Rebel didn't deserve the opportunity. She just challenged him because I guess they said so. And of course, it was all to jump Sheeta.
Yeah.
She should have known ahead of time that this wasn't for any other reason than for Britt Baker to attack her from behind. She didn't get anything from beating Rebel. Absolutely not. She was playing into their hands.
Yep.
And now Darby Allin is doing the same thing with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. No sense. I do not like it.
Yeah, I think there's this like weird belief in wrestling that like the babyface should never back down or whatever from anything, and it's just like sometimes the smart thing is to be like, no, this is stupid. This makes no sense.
Down from a challenge, he made his own stipulation to make it worse.
Yes,
for
exactly,
no reason.
Exactly.
He could have gone in there with like Lance Archer, who was doing a thing with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Like he intimidated them like 3 times. That would have been awesome. He even could have gone with like a small guy just to kind of make fun of the thing. Maybe that would have worked.
Sure.
But just going in alone like that. And later in the show, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, they don't even seem to be all that thrilled with it.
No.
They're like, but why would you even? We're gonna kick the crap out of you. Don't worry about that. But are you really this idiotic that you're all right? Whatever you say, buddy.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And I'm supposed to root for Darby in that situation.
Exactly. You're supposed to go. Yeah, Darby, go. I don't know. Make a dumb decision. Yeah. It's Darby does himself no favors. Pretty much ever. So.
Yeah. He gets over so much with the crowd. But,
yes.
And I like him a lot.
Oh, same. Yeah.
He does this kind of stuff every once in a while, and I can't truck with it.
Yeah. No, I think that's totally fair. I think he, in storyline, put himself in a very bad situation for no reason. So.
No reason. Oh, my God. All right. After all that stuff was Miro versus Evil Uno for the TNT title match. Now, I've said this, we're not on this podcast, but I've said before that when the Dark Order first showed up at AEW, I think it was the first Double or Nothing show. Maybe it was the show after that.
Yeah.
I hated them. They were like, who are these goofballs? What is this nonsense? Who are these guys in the masks? It's silly, ridiculous. And even for the first part of Dynamite, they didn't do anything for me. It wasn't until they started doing those like Tim and Eric-esque commercials for the Dark Order that I finally got it. And now they are like my favorite stable at AEW. I wanted them, like with Brody Lee when he was still there, I wanted them to go to the top. Like that was awesome. And Evil Uno is a big part of that.
Oh, yeah.
Their feud, before the reveal of the Exalted One, where they were teasing was Christopher Daniels, that feud was awesome. Evil Uno was so good at manipulating people, just talking dirty, not dirty, but like talking circles around people to confuse them.
Yep.
And I even like his particular fighting style. I don't think anyone really fights like him.
No.
Like he does that thing where he grabs the leg, tosses it to the ref, and gives him a cutter or something.
Yeah.
That is always awesome. I love
that move, yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, do you think the Dark Order should go heel again? Because I feel like now that they're baby faces, they don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's something I've thought about before. It would almost be hard to turn them heel, I feel like, at this point. It's just like, they still have that connection with Brody Lee, and it's just, it's hard to do that, I feel like, especially when you have so many, like, talented, like, kind of goofy guys in there. I don't know. And especially when you have, what's his name? -1, -1.
-1.
Yeah, it's hard to root against that kid, really. So, I don't know. I feel like they'll be face for a while, but maybe in time they'll be able to turn them heel again and give them another direction.
Yeah, I just think Uno and especially Grayson, like I don't even know if they have to be full heels, but they need to be more aggressive. They need to be like more willing to not even like maybe even like cheat a bit. But Grayson, I was looking at Grayson a year ago and I was like, this dude will kill people.
Yes.
And now I just don't see it anymore. But anyway, this match, Miro versus Evil Uno. I was very much looking forward to this match, and it didn't disappoint. I did not expect Evil Uno to do well, and
No.
he did not. Miro, he is giving exactly as much effort as this requires, which is like 1% of his skill, his power.
Yep.
And it's still enough to completely destroy Evil Uno. He tries to outsmart him with like the pulling on the ropes and pushing and dodging the punch so he hits the rail.
Yep.
But yeah, he ain't doing much in this match.
No, definitely not. Miro is definitely he's on a tear, and
Oh yeah,
it's great because I'm a big fan of Miro. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think he put the exact amount of effort that was required to beat to beat Evil Uno, and I feel like he does that in a lot of his matches where it's just like just enough where he doesn't exert too much energy, but it still looks dominant in doing so.
I don't remember much of the end. What was okay? So I know the Dark Order came out to do something, but I don't remember exactly what they did.
They were just kind of cheering
Okay.
from the ramp, and
See, the Dark Order from the old days would have done some sneaky stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I would have liked to see that against Miro.
Yeah.
If there's anyone he can be heelish against, it's probably Miro.
Exactly. Right. And yeah, I think it would have gotten some cheers, honestly, because I think people would want to see Uno win. So yeah, I think Uno tried to hit Miro with some stuff, and then Miro just kind of destroyed him with a clothesline, and then hit game over.
Game over.
Yeah.
He's out.
Yep.
Yeah, it went about as well as I expected for Evil Uno.
For sure.
Yeah, I do like seeing him whenever he's over. That Battle Royale, he had a moment with Pentagon. How have I never thought of that? Evil Uno versus Pentagon. I want to see that.
Oh yeah, that would be a heck of a match. That sounds great. Wow.
So after that was Kenny Omega. I was actually they made a big deal about the conspiracy. Did you hear much of a conspiracy?
No, I don't think I did.
Like, they had a video earlier in the show where they had fake subtitles. That was cute, but other than that, I don't know what this conspiracy is supposed to be. But it's mostly there just so Jungle Boy can come out and get over.
Yes.
Kenny Omega is great just talking down to someone.
Oh, for sure. He's the master of it.
Good.
Yeah, he's a master of it.
And, I mean, if he's hurting, he can at least do that much. I hope he takes time off eventually because he's got like 4 different things that he's got to heal up on.
Yep.
This is also the hottest he's ever going to, well, maybe not ever, but he is on a hot run now with 4 title belts.
Yeah, it's hard to get hotter than that for sure. So yeah, it's I think he's just going to grin and bear it, to be honest, and just kind of deal with the pain until this storyline comes to an end. Yeah, this belt collector storyline.
It's probably going to be at least a year.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
What other belts is he going to go for? He doesn't have a New Japan belt now, does he?
No, I think they're still kind of trying to work something out with New Japan. So yeah, we'll see about that. That would be interesting.
Still have New Japan belt?
No, it's currently spoilers for Dominion. If anybody hasn't watched it yet, but Shingo Takagi won the heavyweight. He beat Okada for it. So that's where the heavyweight belt. It was on Ospreay, but he had to give it up. Because of the injuries. Yeah.
I mean, what's going to be worse? Kenny Omega having this one fantastic run and then never being able to wrestle again, or cutting this one short so we can have like 5 more runs in the future?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a concern.
Yeah, it certainly is. If he's hurting this badly, yeah, maybe he should think about, I don't know, calling it at some point and taking some time off.
And it's not even like a short amount of time he needs. Like if he wanted to like do like a long running tournament storyline so that he didn't have to do a match until the tournament resolved itself, that's still probably not enough time to recover from whatever he needs to heal from.
No, yeah. It's man, poor Kenny, because he's wrestling like 4 different companies, so it's like that can't be good on the body.
He can't be doing much work on Impact, is he? He only does the pay-per-views,
He pretty much only does pay-per-views, yeah. So it's not too much, but I mean, when you add it all up, it's gotta be pretty tough.
And especially with the matches he does have, even if he's only having one every 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, he's still doing.
He's doing the work of 10 matches.
Exactly. So yeah, I honestly can't see him going much longer than like 3-4 more years, maybe. Maybe that's being generous. I don't know. It's a
tough business.
It is a tough business, especially when you wrestle his style.
Yeah. Jungle Boy came out. He got verbally assaulted, stood there like a stone, no reaction, cool as a cucumber. and they just kind of brawled it out. He almost got the snare trap in, which is his submission finisher, but the Bucks came out. It was the Bucks this time, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, they came out to save Kenny.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
So
yep,
you know,
yep. They did. That was them. Yeah.
so yeah, advertising for the big match on the Saturday show. That's the Saturday after next Saturday, right?
I believe
They
so.
got one more
Yes.
Friday show.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for that match. I think it's going to be a great match.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I think they're, the kind of veteran in Omega versus Jungle Boy is going to be. It's going to be a heck of a match.
Did Jungle Boy have a match with Moxley? Because I know he had one with Jericho.
I can't remember one with Moxley, but maybe I'm just forgetting.
Yeah, I remember he had a good one with Jericho. He beat him, like he survived like a 10-minute match, which got him an opportunity, and he lost, but that was like his first big attempt at a push. But then the
Yes.
pandemic happened, and they put him on hold for a while.
Yep. Yeah. That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Right. So after that, we got a Jade Cargill promo. What is it? What is that guy's name? Her lawyer guy.
Oh, I can't remember.
Mark Sterling, the smart Mark Sterling.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I actually like that guy, and I think they can do an interesting dynamic there, but this promo was nothing. It was just, oh, we're making a bunch of money doing stuff other than wrestling. Great. Do it on the other shows, not on the wrestling show.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, great. So, bye.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up for another paycheck.
Yeah.
After that, we got Lance Archer versus Chandler Hopkins.
Correct.
A jobber that is such a jobber that not only did he get the jobber entrance, he didn't even get a title card. Lance Archer beat the crap out of him before the title card was able to show up.
Yeah.
The only reason I knew his name is that the announcers made sure to say it twice within the 58 seconds it took for Archer to destroy this guy and make him question his life choices.
Yes. Yeah. Lance Archer squash matches are fun, but I feel like they lead to nothing almost, or
Nothing.
they just kind
That's
of.
the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
He is the best guy at not getting the job done.
Exactly.
How many title shots has he had across all the different titles and not gotten one of them?
Yes, he is. He's not clutch, I guess, in the world of wrestling.
I mean, he's still a big, scary dude. I love seeing that guy wrestle.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess that's just his role in life.
Yeah. Unless they really go for it with him, I feel like that's going to be his role. But maybe he's happy with that. Who knows?
Okay, and what was after that? Oh, okay. I am almost 30 years old, so chances are I will never get into this wacky business of wrestling, especially when my physique has never been above a bleh. But the Wingmen, if I were to ever join a wrestling group, I would want to join the Wingmen. They are awesome. I love these guys. It's Cesar Bononi, Peter Avalon, Ryan Nemeth, and was it TD Drake?
Yes.
TD
Yeah,
Drake?
yeah.
I can never remember what his name is. But I don't know. There's something about this group of lovable losers that is so endearing to me. Like they're all fine wrestlers, but they have like a certain presence to them where they're fun to watch, even when they are clearly going to lose everything that they try in.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're incompetent guys. Ryan Nemeth, you don't look like that rolling out of bed. He is definitely working on his physique.
Right.
Cesar Bononi's got that huge height, and he may not be a fantastic wrestler, but he can do the big man stuff. And even TD Drake, he's like the one guy who actually could break off and do something.
Definitely.
But together, they are just like an awesome group of losers who think so highly about themselves.
Yeah, they do have a charm to them.
And they challenge Orange Cassidy to either a makeover or a match. And, either way, I want to see both.
Yeah.
I want to see both. I want to see
Honestly,
what
I
they
do
would
too.
suggest for Orange Cassidy to improve his style. And I also want to see Cesar Bononi try and crush his face.
Yes.
Yeah.
That seems like the best of both worlds. I would love to see both of those things.
Absolutely. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, that was a pretty quick one. Just, hey, we're the Wingmen. Orange Cassidy, fix your style or we shall crush you.
Right.
That's basically it.
Yep.
After that, we have another something close to a squash match, which was Nyla Rose versus Layla Hirsch. I really like Layla Hirsch. What do you think of her?
I like her too. I don't know that much about was it legit Layla Hirsch?
Yeah.
But I thought these two worked pretty well together. Even if it was kind of a quick one.
I mean, Nyla's been gone for so long for a reason I don't even know.
Yeah.
And so they gotta, give her some juice before before her match against Britt Baker, whenever that's gonna be. So they threw in Layla Hirsch to take the fall. But Layla Hirsch is really talented. She's like she should be one of the top people in that division. and honestly, she should be getting a match against Baker,
Yeah.
which she may at some point, maybe down the road. They just
Yeah.
want to get Nyla in there so that she can get a title defense under
Mm-hmm.
her belt.
Yeah.
Nyla doesn't have much going on, so just give her a few matches to build her up, and then have her lose to Baker, and
Yeah.
then figure out what the longer term program is after that. And I don't know. I guess a good match with a name person is better than a squash match with a nobody. But I want to see more Layla Hirsch doing well.
Yeah, maybe they'll start to build Layla Hirsch up a little bit more. But I feel like Nyla's more the complete package at this point, so it gives Britt Baker a good defense to start off her reign.
Well, it's also I don't know. I don't know how comfortable Baker is feeling right now, considering Nyla Rose is the one that broke her leg.
That's true. That's a good
Yeah.
point. Yes. Ugh.
I'm sure she's gotten better.
Yes.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Yeah. And after that, we got a backstage interview with Baker. You tell me. Was it weird to you that they were doing an interview in a stairwell?
Yeah, I was like, couldn't you find anywhere else to?
They couldn't even do it at her dentist place. That'd
Exactly.
be awesome if she had like a patient
That
there.
would be very
She's
cool.
like, oh, Nyla Rose, I don't care what she does. Stab, drill.
Yeah. Just
Because it's clear that she
patient
actually
moaning
does
in
care.
pain. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking last week, the spot where Nyla Rose knocked the hamburgers out of the three people's hands. I don't know about you, but that was like the best slap out of hands I've ever seen.
It was pretty incredible.
Went flying in the like perfect directions. That was awesome.
It was pretty great. Yeah.
Even like for a segment that was just kind of meh, that was a great moment in it.
Yes, definitely.
And this promo is just kind of, oh, I'm Britt Baker. I'm the best. You weren't even great as champion. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we'll get to that match eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
This is just keeping things warm for that. And that leaves us to the final match. Hangman Adam Page and 10 the Creeper, Preston Vance, versus Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't know about you, but this was probably the best match on the show.
Yes, I would agree. I would definitely agree.
What's his name? The Braun Strowman. He recently got released from WWE.
Yep.
Looking at this match, I'm like, no way. He ain't coming here. Braun Strowman is okay as a big guy, but this match has at least 3 big, massive dudes who are like 10 times talented than he'll ever be. They are quick, agile. They show like they can hit with force. It was an amazing match.
Yeah.
Like last week, we had the match between Nick Comoroto and Dustin, which was like a big guy sloppy match, just a brawl.
Yes,
This was way more like technical, a lot of jumps, a lot of counters, all that stuff from these big giant dudes. And I don't know about you, I don't think anyone else has a better spine buster than Powerhouse Hobbs.
Oh yeah, I love it.
He lifts you up. You are hanging there for like a quarter of a second, then you drop like a meteor. Kaboom!
Yep.
Right on the ground.
Yep. I mentioned
Oh my God.
I mentioned earlier how big a fan I am of the AA spine buster, but Powerhouse Hobbs has a beautiful spine buster.
So good. We don't see enough Hobbs, do we?
No.
He turned heel and went to Team Taz and was gone for like 4 months.
Yeah, it was really strange. I'm a huge Powerhouse Hobbs. Honestly, pretty much everybody in this match I love. I'm a huge Hangman Page fan.
It is weird that Hangman Page is a small guy in the match.
I know. That's the wild thing about this match is just like the sheer amount of beef in this match was something to behold. Yeah, exactly.
Brian Cage is so good. He could be champ. He is so good in this match. He's so good in every match.
Yeah.
What's kind of weird about his fighting style, though, at least I kind of noticed in this last few matches, he's kind of a taciturn person in his promos, but his fatal flaw seems to be he can't help but showboat in a match.
Oh yeah. I think they try to build that up too. I mean, I feel like at Double or Nothing, especially, he had a few of those moments.
Yeah, he could have won if he didn't showboat the entire time.
Exactly.
Just pick up Page and do the curls with him for no reason.
Yes, that is such a great spot. I love that. I love that spot.
Yeah, and Preston Vance is good. I think he's coming into his own.
I do as well. I've definitely seen him improve at least, recently.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a story here, but I just remember burr, burr, punch, flip.
Which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all fantastic.
I guess the story was mostly what Team Taz kind of imploding a little bit, or at least
that was at the end.
Yeah, Brian Cage at least possibly probably leaving Team Taz.
Yeah. What happens is like halfway through the match, for no reason, Hook and I forget his Ricky Starks come out.
Yep.
Just to hang out, and shenanigans are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it gets to a point where Hook is on the apron distracting the ref. Refs in AEW are like maybe not the worst refs, but the most easily
Oh,
distractible
for
refs ever.
sure. Yes.
He's on the apron, and Ricky Starks is trying to hand cage the FTW belt to hit. Was it Page? I think it was Page in the ring at that point. Or hit
Yes.
the other guy in the face with it, and once again, you think Ricky Starks would have learned by now. Cage just throws the belt away,
Mm-hmm.
and Starks is very upset about that, and he slaps Brian Cage. And no, you do not do that to Brian Cage.
No.
You don't spit in the wind. You don't tug on Superman's cape. And Lord knows you do not punch Brian Cage in the face. And so Brian Cage, okay, I am sympathetic to Brian Cage and his journey to basically he's going to leave Team Taz because he wants to be a more honorable competitor.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to use cheap tricks. He left Will Hobbs alone.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of excuse for that.
No,
He
no.
faces Ricky Starks to the back. Will Hobbs is like, what the heck?
Yeah.
He has to fend off Adam Page and Preston Vance at the same time. He can't do it. Preston Vance does something. And then Hangman Adam Page comes in with the buckshot lariat afterwards.
Yep.
They get the pin. They win the match.
Yep. Yeah, best match of the show. I had a great time watching this match. I mean, I think the buckshot lariat is one of my favorite finishers.
It's such a cool finish.
It's beautiful. It really is. And then yeah, it ends with who is it? Hangman Page drinking some beers with the Dark Order, right?
Mm-hmm. And -1 has a water bottle.
And yeah, -1, yeah, and water. Announcers make it very clear that he's drinking water.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the end of the episode. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here's my fan theory. Once Brian Cage leaves, he is going to team up with Christian Cage, and they're going to be Cage Squared.
Oh, Cage Squared. I like that idea. Yeah.
Then you get a trios match, a trios combination where it's Cage, Page, Cage.
That would be great. Just for the match graphic alone. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was a good episode of Dynamite. I really didn't like last week's episode. I didn't think anything about it worked.
Yeah.
There were a lot of botches. Now the storylines felt like they were going anywhere, but this was a huge improvement over that.
Yes, I would definitely agree. I think this is the best. Weirdly, the Friday Dynamites have been kind of odd, but I think this was the best one. Definitely.
Definitely since they went to Friday nights. And they're going to be going back to Wednesdays eventually, but then Rampage is going to have to survive alone on this time slot.
Yep. That's right.
But, I'll watch it. I got to watch all the stuff.
That's right.
3 hours of television. Still better than watching 3 hours of Raw.
That's not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's AEW Dynamite. That was the show we watched. And at the end of these, we're going to do something a little bit fun. This week, we both watched the fantastic debut of none other than the Shockmaster.
That's right.
We watched the video on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. WWE themselves uploaded the video, so it's easy to find. Here's my number one question when watching this.
Sure.
Assume everything went right. The dude... Okay, actually, you know what? Let's describe the video for anyone who doesn't know what it is. This is all the way back in the 90s in WCW. Ric Flair, I guess he had some sort of talk show at the time.
I think it was called A Flair for the Gold.
Oh my god, that's such a good name.
Yeah.
And so you got pre-Goth Sting with the British Bulldog, and they need a third member of their team to fight Sid Vicious and Harlem Heat. Everyone is arguing, and eventually Sting is like, our next member is none other than the Shockmaster. And then they cut to a wall where Pyro goes off, and then coming out of the wall is this big dude falling over. There was apparently some sort of 2x4 that didn't break as part of the wall, and he didn't see it. So he goes splat. And he is dressed with a fur vest and a Stormtrooper helmet covered in sparkles.
Yes.
He falls over. That Stormtrooper helmet falls off and rolls away. He has to scramble for it, put it back on, and pretend none of that happened. And the rest of it is pure comedy gold because he's not even doing his own voice. He's got a guy in the background doing a scary voice for him. He can't hold it together, so before he starts talking, you can hear him laughing.
Yeah.
And then he does a scary voice as this dude is pantomiming, pretending to be the one talking while wearing this ridiculous Stormtrooper helmet. I'm not making that up. It is not a Stormtrooper-looking helmet.
Yeah.
It is an actual Stormtrooper helmet that they dipped in a bucket of sparkles for whatever reason, and he's supposed to be this new bad guy called the Shockmaster. Sid Vicious does his absolute best to sell this. He is screaming his head off at the Shockmaster, but it falls apart completely. you listen to it and there are people like you listen to it with the volume way up and you can hear like 5 voices saying things like, "Oh my god, did he just fall? Oh my god, what are we gonna do?" Stuff like that. And it was live, so they couldn't redo it.
Yeah.
So they had to just kind of go with it. So my question is, the number one thing I wonder when I'm watching this, how is this gonna go if everything went right? How could this have possibly worked if he didn't fall over?
Right.
If the guy didn't laugh on the mic and had some decent lines? We're still talking about a guy named the Shockmaster who comes through a pastel pink wall with like sparklers and stuff. He's wearing a fur vest and he has a stormtrooper helmet on.
Right.
I don't care if you're like Daniel Bryan or like a guy who's like a great talker or something like that. You come through the wall looking like that, you can't be taken seriously. No matter how good of a wrestler you are, no matter how well it went, there's no way this could have worked if he hadn't fallen. The only reason people really remember this is because of the fall. It's the best thing that could have happened to this segment. Maybe not for the guy, because I don't know, he seemed to not do well after this. It kind of killed his career. Well, not his career, killed this gimmick at least.
Yes, for sure.
But how is this going to work?
Well, they tried to. I was reading a little bit about what happened afterwards, and apparently they tried to like save this character by almost making him a comedy character, by kind of portraying him as like a really clumsy wrestler, essentially.
But that was after.
But that was after. Yeah. In no world do I see this being even remembered as anything other than like, oh, who's this guy who's the Shockmaster? Oh, he used to be Typhoon and in WWF.
Like,
oh, got it. And like, but I think the reason that it's so remembered is because he fell, for sure. I think you're totally right.
And it's also everything that happened with the fall. The way that everyone reacts to it. You can hear Ric Flair saying, "Oh God."
Yeah, it's a perfect slapstick moment. It really is. It's unbelievable.
And years later, like, I don't know, it's like 2009 or something when DX was getting back together in the WWE. They tried to do a spoof on this and had another Shockmaster came out. Not funny in the slightest.
No.
They're trying to make it funny.
Exactly.
This was so naturally awful. And it's amazing that this happened at all. Like there's no step in this process where it could have gone right, and then it went worse beyond that.
Right. It's truly it's an unbelievable. If you haven't seen this video, please look up Shockmaster on YouTube. It really is like you can't plan anything funnier than this.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're gonna put you in. Who wore sparkles?
Yeah.
A spark and a helmet on top of that.
I think that's one of the big reasons he said he fell is because he couldn't see anything because of the sparkles. Exactly. So, truly unforgettable.
Like what's the worst costuming out there? And I don't think any of them like have like a helmet like this.
No.
Like you have masks in wrestling, but you don't have helmets.
Yeah.
Was he gonna take the helmet off in the match?
That's the other thing. Like, how could he possibly perform wrestling moves in this?
It fell off so easily.
I know. Like, as soon as he takes a bump, it's got to roll out of the ring.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it was War Games, so at least there's a cage. It prevents it from.
Was it a War Games?
Yeah, it was gonna be a War Games match.
Oh, who are the other? So War Games is 5 people, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's I think it was 4v4. It was going to be, and it was like Sting, Shockmaster. Bulldog and someone else. I think Dusty Rhodes. And then against Harlem Heat, Sid, and Arn Anderson or somebody. I can't remember who the fourth one on the Sid's team was, but yeah, apparently it was a 4v4. 4v4 War Games.
Yeah. But I mean, I got to give credit to Sid. My knowledge of wrestling during that period is pretty limited, so I don't know much about Sid other than he broke his leg and he did the no brain promo.
Yes.
But he has energy. He is doing his best to sell it. He is screaming his head off in the first half, and when the guy falls, he is still screaming his head off.
Yes. Yeah, he does a pretty convincing job of looking at least concerned with the Shockmaster's presence.
Concerned he broke a hip or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sting, he even did a great job. Like his reading of the Shockmaster.
Oh yeah,
that was a good reading.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
If you had actually something worth doing there, heck yeah.
Yeah, staying. They all did their best. I think the fall was too much apparently, in just reading about the event, like British Bulldog just laughing. I think WWE like removed that from later broadcasts or whatever. But
That's
yeah, yeah,
they put
they.
it up on YouTube.
I know it's so strange, and it's that it wasn't even their company, so I don't even get why they would care. But
Oh, yeah.
who
Oh my
knows?
God.
Yeah, but please,
Uh,
yeah, if you haven't seen it, please look up Shockmaster. It's amazing.
Look it up. Best, one of the best things to happen in wrestling.
That's
And
yeah.
like, when did that happen? Do you know what year that happened?
I can look it up real quick.
Like, that had to have been early because we still had surfers staying.
Right.
And is it any worse than what ended up happening at the end of WCW?
No, no, definitely not.
The Shockmaster is the Cassandra of WCW.
I think it was 93.
Oh my God, that long ago. Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
Vader. Vader was the fourth um in
Vader?
the yeah, on the in the other team.
Oh, okay. You need two big guys to fight each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Veda had that weird mask that kind of like just covered like didn't it like covers like his top half of his face, but his mouth was just kind of out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And even that, it's a mask. It's gonna stay on. It looks better than the Shockmaster.
Yeah, and he can see out
What
of it
about
at
him is
least.
Shock? What about him? He doesn't like. What was that one guy like Glacier or something who was a Mortal Kombat ripoff guy?
Oh,
He at least
yes.
looked the part.
Yes.
What about him is shocking? Other than oh my God, that's a shocking appearance.
I have no idea. I don't know if they're gonna try to do like a some kind of electricity gimmick or something.
Oh my
I have
God.
no idea. It seems like they just looked in the prop room and they were like, all right, what can we put on
Okay,
this guy?
no. There's no way someone just happened to have a sparkly stormtrooper helmet lying around.
That's true. That's a good point.
But yeah, that was interesting.
That sure was.
And go watch it.
Yes,
Watch it a million times.
please.
Watch it on a loop. It is fantastic.
It's so good.
Uh, and I think that is a great stopping point.
Yeah.
I think we had a great episode.
Absolutely.
Take that, E3.
That's right.
All right. So yeah, my website is reviewersunite.com. I review not just wrestling, but movies, comic books, and other stuff. You can follow me at _superdude92 on Twitter. Ryan, what do you got?
If you're watching this, it's Professor Handsome, Prof Handsome on Twitch, twitch.tv/Prof Handsome. And you can follow me on Twitter I think it's just at Prof Handsome _ I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So unfortunately, next week I am busy, so I will not be able to do next week's episode. Again, perfect timing on our part. The week after should be fine, at least for me.
Cool.
Then after that is the 4th of July. Once again,
perfect
timing. On our
timing.
part.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, we'll play this by ear. If you follow me on Twitter, I will definitely be tweeting out when we're going to do it. If we're going to do these, they are going to be on Sundays.
Mhm.
So just follow us, and we will let you know when they come out. If we get it, hey, if anyone wants to, I will work on maybe getting like an email address or something set up, or you can, send me a message on Twitter if you want to maybe ask some questions. We can maybe make that part of the ending segment along with whatever wacky wrestling thing we decide to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good to me.
All right, and with that, I will come up with a better closing tagline next week. But goodbye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.